Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to share a message that is simple yet powerful. Women, focus on yourself and stay silent. Now, before you think silence means weakness, let me tell you, silence is not the absence of power, it's the presence of peace. The world is full of noise, opinions, judgments, gossip, comparisons, but amidst all that chaos, a woman who learns to stay calm, composed, and focused on her own growth becomes unstoppable. Silence has often been misunderstood as a sign of weakness or submission, especially in a world that glorifies noise, opinions, and constant expression. But the truth is, silence is one of the deepest forms of strength. It reflects maturity, confidence, and emotional control. A woman who learns to stay calm and composed amid chaos is a woman who has mastered herself. She doesn't react to everything around her because she understands that her energy is sacred. Her silence doesn't mean she doesn't have an answer. It means she refuses to waste her wisdom on unnecessary conversations. Silence, when chosen wisely, becomes her armor, a shield that protects her peace, dignity, and grace. In life, there will always be people who misunderstand you, criticize you, or try to pull you down. Some will question your choices, your path, or your pace. But responding to every voice is exhausting and unproductive. A focused woman knows that not every battle is worth fighting. She doesn't engage in gossip or drama because she knows her worth isn't up for debate. Her silence doesn't come from fear, it comes from focus. She's too busy building, learning, and growing to be distracted by noise. And that is the beauty of real strength. It doesn't react impulsively, it responds intelligently. Think of silence as inner power under control. It's not about suppressing emotions, but channeling them wisely. When you are silent, you're not ignoring life. You're processing it deeply, you're observing, understanding, and planning your next step without revealing your moves to the world. That's what gives you the upper hand. People may underestimate a quiet woman, but what they fail to see is the fire that burns within her, the discipline, the patience, and the clarity that silence nurtures. A woman who stays silent doesn't lose her voice, she simply learns when and how to use it effectively. When the world becomes loud with opinions, silence becomes your sanctuary. It allows you to return to yourself, to listen to your intuition, and to make choices that align with your purpose, rather than with other people's expectations. Gaur Gopal beautifully says that peace doesn't come from controlling the world, it comes from controlling your reaction to it. And silence helps you do exactly that. In silence, you stop reacting out of emotion and start responding from understanding. You stop explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You learn that sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. There's elegance in silence, a kind of dignity that words can't express. When you stay silent, you communicate confidence without arrogance. You show strength without aggression. You teach others that respect doesn't come from loudness, but from presence. The woman who stays calm in a storm shows that she's not controlled by the world. She's in control of herself. Her silence becomes her statement. It tells the world, I know who I am and I don't need your validation to prove it. Silence also gives you emotional freedom. It frees you from the burden of having to justify every choice or defend every decision. It gives you space to think, to heal, and to redirect your energy toward what truly matters. When you stop reacting to negativity, you begin attracting peace. The energy you once wasted explaining yourself now goes into creating a better version of you. You grow quietly but powerfully. And one day, your results will speak so loudly that the same people who doubted you will be forced to listen. In the end, silence is not the absence of voice, it's the presence of wisdom. It's knowing that your time, energy, and peace are too valuable to be wasted on things that don't help you grow. It's a statement of inner power that says, I'm not here to prove, I'm here to progress. A silent woman is not an empty vessel. She is a storm disguised as calm, a warrior cloaked in grace, and a leader who doesn't need to shout to be heard. Focusing on yourself is not an act of selfishness. It is an act of self-respect, self-awareness, and self-preservation. In a world that constantly demands your attention, opinions, and energy, turning your focus inward becomes a revolutionary choice. A woman who focuses on herself is not ignoring others. She is choosing to prioritize her growth, her dreams, and her peace of mind. Too often, women are conditioned to put everyone else's needs above their own, to be the caregiver, the problem solver, the emotional anchor. But in trying to hold everyone together, they sometimes forget to hold themselves. Focusing on yourself means reclaiming that balance, recognizing that you cannot pour from an empty cup. When you begin to focus on yourself, something powerful happens. You start to see your own value clearly. You stop chasing validation from people who don't understand your worth, and you stop comparing your path to someone else's. You realize that your journey is uniquely yours, with its own timing, its own lessons, and its own rewards. That realization brings peace, confidence, and an unshakable sense of purpose. You no longer seek approval from the outside because you have built a relationship of trust within. This is where true empowerment begins, not in loud declarations, but in quiet self-assurance. Gaur Gopal often says that the one relationship you'll have for the rest of your life is with yourself. Yet it's the one we often neglect the most. We invest time in others, but rarely in our own well-being. Focusing on yourself means nurturing that inner relationship. It means asking, what makes me happy? What brings me peace? What aligns with my purpose? And then having the courage to pursue those answers. It's about creating boundaries that protect your energy, saying no when you need to, and understanding that rest is not laziness, it's preparation. When you focus on yourself, you learn to value your time, your mental health, and your emotional space. You stop running after things that drain you and start building things that fulfill you. Self-focus also cultivates clarity. When your attention isn't scattered across other people's opinions and expectations, you start to see your goals more clearly. You become more intentional in your actions. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding with purpose. Every step you take becomes more meaningful because it aligns with your true self. The woman who focuses on herself understands that her growth is her greatest gift, not only to herself but to everyone around her. When you grow stronger, wiser, and more centered, you naturally uplift others. Your calm becomes contagious. Your focus becomes inspiring. It's important to understand that focusing on yourself doesn't mean cutting others off or living in isolation. It means showing up in relationships and responsibilities as your best, most grounded self. When you give yourself the attention you deserve, you bring more peace, stability, and joy to every aspect of your life. You stop living reactively and start living intentionally. You stop trying to prove your worth and start living in alignment with it. A focused woman radiates a quiet confidence that doesn't need to be announced. It's felt by everyone who meets her. The world often celebrates hustle and noise, but focus is about depth, not speed. It's about choosing direction over distraction. It's about understanding that not every opportunity is meant for you, and not every call for attention deserves your response. When you focus on yourself, you stop chasing everything and start attracting what's right for you. You become selective with your time, your company, and your goals. You realize that peace is not found in doing more, but in doing what truly matters. A woman who focuses on herself becomes unstoppable because she knows exactly where her energy belongs. She is not swayed by opinions or setbacks because she trusts the process. Her focus gives her resilience, and her self-respect gives her strength. She doesn't seek validation in noise, she finds it in progress. She walks with purpose, speaks with intention, and lives with gratitude. And in that space of clarity and self-respect, she becomes not just successful, but truly fulfilled. There is an undeniable power in letting your actions speak louder than your words. In a time where everyone is eager to talk, post and prove themselves, silence paired with consistent effort becomes a rare and remarkable strength. When a woman allows her work to speak for her, she doesn't just create results, she creates respect. Words can be doubted, debated and dismissed, but actions are undeniable. They carry a truth that needs no explanation. The woman who chooses to act instead of argue, to build instead of boast, to show results instead of shouting about her potential, embodies a kind of grace that cannot be ignored. Letting your actions speak means you are confident enough not to seek immediate recognition. You understand that progress takes time, and real success doesn't happen overnight. The process is often silent, unseen, and uncomfortable. But in that silence, your strength is being built. Gaur Gopal thus often reminds us that a seed grows in darkness before it breaks through the surface. In the same way, your efforts might not be visible at first, but they are shaping you into something extraordinary. The woman who continues to work in silence despite the doubts of others eventually allows her results to become her loudest response. The temptation to prove yourself is strong. When people question your abilities or underestimate your potential, it's easy to want to defend yourself. But when you shift that energy toward action instead of explanation, you turn criticism into fuel. Every moment you spend working on your craft, improving your skills, and staying consistent is a silent declaration that you believe in yourself. You no longer need to explain your vision, you demonstrate it. The satisfaction of achieving something through effort and patience is far greater than the fleeting validation that comes from trying to convince others. Actions also have a way of earning respect that words never can. When people see your discipline, your resilience, and your commitment, they can't help but acknowledge your strength. They may not always say it out loud, but your consistency speaks directly to their perception of you. A focused woman who delivers on her promises, meets her goals, and maintains integrity in her work creates an impact that no amount of talking could achieve. Her presence commands attention, not because she demands it, but because she has earned it through effort and authenticity. Letting your actions speak is also a form of emotional intelligence. It shows maturity, the understanding that proving your worth to others is unnecessary when you are already living in alignment with your purpose. You learn to rise above unnecessary conversations and focus your energy where it matters most. When you stay grounded and persistent, you begin to attract opportunities instead of chasing them. Your results start to open doors that your words never could. The quiet worker often surprises the world with her success because she was too focused on building to broadcast her every move. It's important to remember that real success is not about applause, it's about impact. It's about the people you inspire, the growth you experience, and the change you create through what you do. When your actions align with your intentions, your life becomes your message. You no longer need to convince anyone of your potential. Your achievements speak the truth on your behalf. The beauty of this approach is that it gives you peace. You stop depending on external approval because your satisfaction comes from knowing you've done your best. In a world full of noise, the most powerful statement you can make is through quiet consistency. Work when no one is watching. Grow when no one believes in you. Keep showing up even when recognition seems far away. Because eventually, your work will shine so brightly that it will silence every doubt, every criticism, and every unnecessary word. The woman who lets her actions speak doesn't just succeed, she inspires others to do the same. Her story becomes proof that real power lies not in what you say, but in what you do. Choosing peace over opinions is one of the most powerful acts of emotional intelligence a woman can practice. In a world where everyone has something to say about how you live, what you wear, or the choices you make, maintaining inner peace becomes an act of quiet rebellion. Society has built a culture of constant commentary. People speak without understanding, they judge without knowing, and they criticize without caring. But the truth is, peace is not found in trying to control what others say. It's found in mastering how you respond to it. When you stop allowing opinions to disturb your peace, you begin to live from a place of strength, clarity, and confidence that no amount of noise can shake. Every woman, at some point, faces the pressure of other people's expectations. Whether it's about career decisions, lifestyle choices, or personal relationships, there will always be someone ready to offer unsolicited advice or judgment. But when you begin to understand that other people's opinions are merely reflections of their own limitations, not measures of your worth, you stop letting them dictate your emotions. Gaur Gopal often says that peace doesn't mean a life without noise. It means having calmness even in the middle of it. True peace comes when you choose not to be disturbed by what doesn't align with your purpose. You start realizing that opinions are temporary, but your inner stability must be permanent. When you focus too much on what others think, you hand over your power to them. You begin living a life shaped by fear. Fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of being misunderstood. But when you choose peace, you take that power back. You start creating your own definitions of success and happiness. You stop explaining yourself to those who don't want to understand and start investing that energy into becoming better, wiser, and calmer. Peace isn't the absence of opinions. It's the ability to rise above them with grace. When you are at peace with yourself, external voices lose their influence. You no longer feel the need to please everyone because you are content with your own truth. Choosing peace also means choosing focus. Opinions are distractions dressed as feedback. If you allow every comment to affect you, your mind becomes cluttered and your goals become blurry. But a peaceful mind is a focused mind. When you stop reacting to every opinion, you conserve emotional energy that can be used to pursue your dreams. You begin to work in silence, guided by purpose rather than pressure. Over time, your peace becomes your protection, a shield that guards you from unnecessary chaos and drama. People may still talk, but their words no longer reach you because you've built an inner world too strong to be shaken by external noise. Peace gives you the power to respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. When you stop being triggered by negativity, you regain control over your emotions. You start seeing things from a higher perspective, one that values understanding over argument. The woman who chooses peace doesn't chase validation, she radiates stability. Her calmness becomes her confidence. Her stillness becomes her statement. She teaches others through her actions that serenity is far more powerful than shouting back at every critic. Silence and peace together create an aura that demands respect without asking for it. There's an elegance in living peacefully amid opinions. It shows maturity, discipline, and emotional control. You realize that people's perceptions of you will change depending on their own experiences, insecurities, and biases. You cannot please everyone, and you were never meant to. Your purpose is not to convince others, but to live authentically. The more you focus on your peace, the less importance you give to opinions that don't serve your growth. You stop reacting to negativity and start protecting your inner harmony as if it were your greatest treasure, because it is. Eventually, choosing peace over opinions transforms your entire life. You begin to walk lighter, smile brighter, and live freer. You become unbothered by what others say because you are fully grounded in who you are. You no longer chase approval, you create alignment. You stop trying to fit into people's expectations and instead build a life that fits your soul. That's when you realize peace is not something you find, it's something you create when you stop letting opinions control your heart. Rising silently and shining boldly is a principle that defines true strength, elegance, and resilience. In a world obsessed with visibility, where people rush to showcase every achievement and narrate every struggle, there is something profoundly powerful about the woman who chooses to rise quietly. She does not seek attention, she earns respect. She does not announce her journey, she allows her success to reveal it. Her silence is not a lack of confidence, but a reflection of her deep focus and self-assurance. She understands that true growth happens away from the spotlight, in moments of discipline, persistence, and self-belief that no one else sees. When you rise silently, you protect your dreams from unnecessary noise. The early stages of growth are delicate, like the roots of a plant that needs stillness to take hold. The more you talk about your goals, the more you invite opinions, doubts, and distractions. But when you nurture your ambitions in silence, you give them space to mature. You stay concentrated on the process rather than the praise. Gaur Gopal often emphasizes that real success doesn't require shouting. It reveals itself naturally when the time is right. Silence during your rise is not about secrecy, it's about strength. It's about having the patience to let your actions unfold the story that words never could. There's a quiet confidence in those who work in silence. They don't need constant recognition because they trust the value of their effort. They understand that the world may not notice their small steps, but those steps are building the foundation of something great. Every late night spent working, every early morning of discipline, every moment of choosing growth over comfort, these are silent victories that eventually lead to loud success. The woman who rises quietly doesn't crave validation, she finds fulfillment in her progress. And when she finally shines, it's not just her achievements that impress, it's her humility, her patience, and her unwavering focus. To shine boldly doesn't mean being arrogant or loud, it means standing in your truth with confidence and grace. It's the courage to take up space, to express your light without apology, and to let your accomplishments speak for themselves. When you've worked hard in silence, your success naturally demands attention, not because you chase it, but because it's undeniable. People notice the glow of someone who has grown through discipline and self-belief. They see the confidence that comes not from boasting, but from knowing. Kind of shine can't be faked or forced. It's earned through consistent effort and quiet perseverance. Rising silently also teaches resilience. The journey toward success is rarely smooth. There are moments of doubt, rejection, and failure that test your resolve. But when you're focused on your growth rather than external validation, you learn to navigate those challenges with strength. You don't crumble when unnoticed because you're not doing it for applause. You keep going, knowing that every setback is a step forward in disguise. That inner faith keeps you grounded, even when the world doesn't see your worth yet. And when the time comes, your rise becomes all the more powerful because it's built on authenticity and endurance. Shining boldly after a silent rise also carries a message that true success doesn't need to prove itself. When people finally see your achievements, they also see your integrity. You inspire others not just through what you've accomplished, but through how you've done it. The grace with which you've moved through your journey becomes a lesson in itself. You show others that it's possible to stay kind, calm, and focused in a noisy world and still reach great heights. That's the beauty of rising in silence. Your journey becomes your testimony. In the end, rising silently and shining boldly is about balance. The humility to grow quietly and the confidence to own your light when the moment arrives. It's about understanding that silence doesn't hide your power, it refines it. And when you finally shine, you do so not with noise, but with undeniable brilliance, the kind that doesn't fade, because it was built patiently, purposefully, and purely. Mastering the art of calm in chaos is one of the greatest forms of strength a woman can develop. In a world that often feels unpredictable, fast-paced, and demanding, the ability to remain composed is what separates those who merely survive from those who truly thrive. Life will always bring challenges, unexpected changes, disappointments, and conflicts that test patience and character. But a woman who learns to stay calm amid the storm radiates a quiet power that cannot be shaken. Her calmness is not a sign of indifference. It is the mark of emotional maturity and deep self-awareness. She understands that losing control never solves a problem, but keeping her peace allows her to handle it with wisdom. Remaining calm does not mean that you ignore reality or suppress emotions. It means you respond instead of react. When chaos erupts around you, your first instinct might be to panic or lash out, but when you train your mind to pause, breathe, and think clearly, you rise above the storm. Gaur Gopal beautifully says that calmness is a superpower. It allows you to see things as they are, not as your fears make them appear. When you are calm, your thoughts become sharper, your words become wiser, and your decisions become stronger. You no longer let situations control you, you control how you respond to them. Calmness is a product of inner strength. It comes from knowing that no matter how turbulent the circumstances are, you have the ability to navigate through them. This mindset transforms fear into focus and anxiety into awareness. When a woman maintains her calm in difficult situations, she doesn't just handle the problem, she influences everyone around her. Her composure becomes a source of stability for others who might be losing theirs. People begin to look to her not just for solutions, but for inspiration. She becomes the quiet center of balance in an environment full of chaos. That kind of presence is powerful because it reflects self-control, patience, and confidence. Cultivating calmness also means having faith. Faith in yourself, in the process, and in the timing of life. When you believe that every challenge carries a purpose, you stop fighting the storm and start learning from it. You begin to see chaos not as an obstacle, but as an opportunity to grow stronger and wiser. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You start asking, what is this trying to teach me? That shift in perspective is what builds resilience. Calmness then becomes not just a state of being, but a skill. One that gets stronger every time you choose patience over panic and understanding over reaction. Being calm in chaos also protects your energy. Every time you allow anger, fear, or frustration to control you, you give away a piece of your power. But when you stay centered, you conserve that power and channel it into positive action. Calmness gives you clarity, and clarity leads to better decisions. It allows you to speak with intention, act with precision, and maintain grace even in conflict. The woman who masters this art doesn't need to shout to be heard or fight to be seen. Her composure alone commands attention. Her silence carries authority, and her calmness speaks louder than her emotions ever could. This inner calm also nurtures your well-being. A peaceful mind supports a healthy body and a fulfilled heart. When you're not constantly reacting to chaos, you create space for peace, joy, and creativity to flourish. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the architect of your emotional world. Challenges may continue to arise, but your inner foundation becomes so strong that nothing can easily disturb it. That stability not only enhances your own life, but also positively influences everyone around you. Your calm energy becomes contagious. To master the art of calm in chaos is to walk through life with unshakable confidence. It's about knowing that storms are temporary, but your peace can be permanent if you protect it. It's about being the woman who doesn't lose herself when things fall apart, but who rises even stronger, wiser, and more grounded each time. Because calmness is not the absence of storms, it is the ability to find your stillness within them. And when you learn to do that, no chaos can ever truly defeat you. So to every woman listening, stop explaining, stop apologizing, stop comparing, focus on your peace, your purpose, and your progress. Let your actions make the noise. Let your silence build your empire. Because the strongest women aren't those who shout the loudest, but those who master the art of calm in chaos. Stay silent, stay focused, and let your success speak. Thank you.